All right, so Jurassic Park stars Laura Dern and Sam Neill only now realize their age gap in first film was inappropriate. I've got some questions about this because I think this is kind of fascinating. Like like the idea of like what is inappropriate for like legal adults who in these movies. Does it involve like because the actors are that far apart does not necessarily mean that the characters.
She was playing someone much older than herself. People were surprised at it because her age at the time of filming was like 23, and she does not look 23.
No, she doesn't.
And also people were saying it's like the same effect that like people on Cheers were supposed to be like in their 20s and 30s, right?
Oh my gosh. Is that true?
Right?
I don't remember.
But then everyone started talking about it and like sharing pictures of the show, and they were like, "Are you telling me that these people were supposed to be like my age in the show?"
And they're all in their
I guess
40s.
it's just like the way people looked back then was more grown up.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
aging
that seems
faster.
to be that seems to be a trend.
We have easier lives now, so your skin does not
You go
crack as
outside
fast.
less when everything's locked down, huh?
There were some advertisements that were like 4 out of 5 doctors recommend these cigarettes.
Yeah.
You know, it was a different world.
Yeah.
So it says Laura Dern and Sam Neill have reflected on their inappropriate age gap when filming Steven Spielberg's 1993 dino blockbuster Jurassic Park. Now, it's been a very long time since I've seen Jurassic Park, but I'm assuming that she played somebody older.
She played a doctor.
Yes. So it says the pair starred opposite one another as paleobotanist. Is that a real job? I'm assuming.
Paleontologist.
Paleobotanist, that's what it says here. Dr. Ellie Sattler and paleontologist Dr. Alan Grant. So
Yes.
I'm assuming that means like paleo, like botanist would be like plants and stuff like that. I'm showing my lack of formal education here. It says, however, Dern, who is returning to their 6th film in the franchise, World Dominion, alongside Neil, has said it's only now she realizes just how problematic their age gap was.
I hope she didn't use that exact word.
If you hear the term problematic, just check out. Just you can turn it off. It's going to be filled with drivel.
Hearing people say that word in person.
Yes.
Too.
The pair spoke to the Telegraph ahead of the release of Jurassic Park World. It's called Jurassic World Dominion. I don't think it's called Jurassic Park World Dominion. On what?
You know the one. I mean, the next story you're gonna check.
Yeah.
The one that really got me was like, whoa, I didn't even notice. Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was like, oh, they're adorable, right? But like she's 22 and he was 37. I couldn't even.
Well, I mean, it's like Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd doesn't really age. Paul
Right.
Rudd just kind of goes backwards. Like I watched Clueless the other weekend. Yes, I did. And he looks not the same, but dang close to the same as he did when Clueless came out. And
He does.
That movie's fantastic. If anybody here
I love
watching
Clueless.
has never seen Clueless, please, you're missing an American classic. It really is. Plus, Stacey Dash is super based. She's
Yeah,
she's
so
Fox
I've
News
heard.
contributor.
yeah, she's like a huge Trump supporter and like switched for like she's so based that she voted for Romney. Like,
Legendary,
that's-
legendary
like
dime piece.
neocon, like ugh. Big yikes, as the kids would say.
It was a different time, okay?
It was 2012. The world was different then. We had no idea.
2008.
No, she voted for
Right?
Obama in the first term and
see.
Romney in the second term.
Okay.
It says, it never occurred to me until I opened a magazine that there was an article called Old Geezers and Gals. People like Harrison
What?
Ford and Sean Connery acting with much younger people. The fact of the matter is, in Hollywood, you age into male roles and you age out of female roles. Meaning that the men, like they talk about actors who literally grow into their face, where like they're handsome when they're young, but they're going to be really good looking when they hit their 30s. And up, and women tend to be very beautiful when they're 18 to 25 and 26, and after that, the type of roles you're going to get are going to change.
For men, it's not about how they look in the role. It's just about the believability of them being an older character.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, I don't think Johnny Depp or Leonardo DiCaprio aged like fine wine. I think they're just now able to take roles where it would be age
Appropriate.
believable. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you see some actors who are very, very clearly too young to play like high-powered attorneys with
And
as much
exactly
experience as they supposedly have.
Yeah, Laura Dern was casted as someone who was like in her late 20s when she was 23 because she was believable as that age.
I think my favorite example of a not believable doctor is Denise Richards as a doctor in the movie The World Is Not Enough. It was a James Bond movie. She plays a doctor named Christmas. That's her character's name.
Incredible.
Which means that there's a very hilarious double entendre about Christmas only comes once a year at the end of the movie, because it was the it was the 90s. I think that movie came out in 99. Like you said before, it was a different time.
It was.
And buying Denise Richards as a
indeed.
doctor that's not in a porno is not super believable, but that was the world they lived in then. So it says Dern, who is now 55, and Neil, who is 74. He doesn't look much older either. I mean, I don't know if they de-aged him in the trailer, but he looks dang good for his age. Sam
If
Neill
they
does.
did, they wouldn't tell you.
No, they would not. Are not the only. There was a part in here that was really funny, and I missed it. It says it felt completely appropriate to fall in love with Sam Neill, and it was only now when we returned to it to a moment of cultural awareness about the patriarchy that I was like, wow, we're not the same age. So I want to know, what is the right age?
Pass.
What is the I want to know what
We don't want to get into naming specific numbers, but
Hard pass.
as far as marriage, it said that the best age difference is like 1 to 3 years. At least from like stuff that I was looking up in studies, like 1 to 3 years
of like successful marriages.
of successful marriage. Like I'm talking about marriages now. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I just picked out the first few surveys that I had found
I'm
here.
sure you can find studies that say all sorts of conflicting things about that. Really, it's just, this is about acting, not the real life success rates of a marriage between people with a certain age gap. Like, this is about playing a character.
But then what makes it inappropriate in the movie if she's 23 and he's
what was he?
He would have been in his 40s.
I mean, she was playing someone in her late 20s, I assume.
The one where it's jarring is Lost in Translation.
What was the? Oh yeah,
Bill Murray and like teeny Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
That one's where it's like, okay, buddy.
And I have that one on here. There are some other ones on here. Entrapment was like 29 and 68. That was Catherine Zeta-Jones and Sean Connery.
I feel like when you're in your 30s, like
Hollywood has a little bit bigger problems to worry about as far as age appropriate relationships than the things that are on screen.
Well, so my thing is like, if you're 30 and if both people are 30 and over, it's like who cares?
Well, we're going to get into talking about grooming, and that term comes up a lot in Hollywood now. People who were groomed in their early 20s, and then I'm like, if you're a legal adult, you moved out to California to get a job as an actor. Like, is it grooming because of your age, or is it grooming because of your position, the vulnerability of him having power over you in the role? Like, I would need more information from someone to tell me about that. Like, I don't know how you can define it, but that seems like what they're trying to get at here. What makes it inappropriate?
With a broad brush, and also ignore the real issues and who is actually made a victim in Hollywood.
So what would you say are the real issues?
Those people will never be heard. I can't exactly get into it on this stream, but I think everyone is kind of picking up what I'm throwing down there.
52 Bill Murray, Scarlett Johansson was 18.
That was when it was clearly part of the marketing. It was clearly like, hey, don't you want to see and like, if you know the director of that movie... They put
Wolf of Wall Street on that?
Yep.
That's crazy.
I know. 39 and 23, which is like an age difference, but it's like...
You've seen it,
it
happens.
That is part of society.
It's a movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
What are broken men supposed to do after their wife leaves them,
I mean, that's that's a trope.
Don't kill me.
That's a trope in and of itself in Hollywood, not just in Hollywood, but in society in general, of just people who they have their midlife crisis and then they leave their wife and they go date a younger woman if they've got the money to afford that. But it's like, how does that jive with what you guys think is acceptable?
I mean, this is a very loaded question, Brett.
These are a lot of Margot Robbie.
Yeah, it does seem like Margot Robbie ends up in it.
Well, no, it's just a few, but still.
I don't know what to think of this, because this is this is truly the case by case scenario.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you can be 57, but not everyone reaches adulthood, if you know what I mean.
Well, they talk about that in some of the other things that I was looking at. We're talking about basically like emotional maturity, relationship maturity. There's different levels of maturity and different types of relationship.
I think people of all ages are less emotionally mature these days.
These days,
because
absolutely.
we are not socialized properly.
Nope.
Because of the internet.
So exactly. So if you're an emotional mature person, and let's say you're 25, just like middle of the young people spectrum, right?
Yeah.
And so like, you know, even if you get like a older guy, like 20 something, 28, 29, he's probably still not emotionally mature if you're emotionally mature. So what do you like? I don't know. You find someone like minded, but there's, I don't know. Firstly, there's just some, you know, when it gets like a lot over 10, it starts making me uncomfortable. Like 10 even is like a stretch, but like it's all personal and, you know.
What's interesting is in that movie, they talk about how, like, it's a very classic story. Like, she wants to have kids in Jurassic Park. He's not sure. By the end of the first movie, he's like, yeah, maybe we should have kids. Like, that's a very classic story in cinema. Like, the lady's like, look, we should have a family. The guy's like, I'm not sure if I'm ready to settle down. And then they have all the tragic events, or everything that happens causes him to reprioritize and realize that maybe it is a good thing to settle down, have kids, start a family. But I don't feel like that story would get told these days. I don't think they would want to tell something like that.
I'm thinking about it from the other side where... like there's some kind of career-driven Mary Sue
nowadays. Nowadays,
yeah, who meets a man that makes her rethink her priorities about that type of thing.
Well,
but that's not really depicted often in movies.
Well, because she can't. She don't need no man.
Right.
She can. She's got a career.
She-Hulk, and she's an attorney and
At
a girl
law.
boss.
Girl boss.
She's a green girl boss.
What was the, like, not to reference Ben Shapiro, but he's like, why? Like, what's the point of like what? Well, it's like, why would you want to give up motherhood so that you can be like a legal assistant or something like that?
Sounds like hell on earth.
Yeah,
actually.
that feels like what it is. It's like they want you to give up the idea of having a family so that you can have like a mediocre job.
So you can serve everybody else.
The
and not
miracle of life for being a garden variety psychopath.
Yeah,
like it's like incredible.
So I don't know if this does the age gap of those two bother you in this movie? Like,
which one?
Of Laura Dern and Sam Neill. So it's 20 years in the movie, but they don't specify whether it's supposed to be 20 years. They only say that there was a 20-year age difference of them in the real world. Right, so I don't even know
I'm
if
not
that's
totally sure what age their characters were supposed to be, if that even was explicit. But
I just don't even know if it really matters. Like, given the fact
we
that
had a slightly less insane society back when this was released, and then nobody thought of it. But now we have to like hyperanalyze everything.
It was such a simpler time. In the
It literally
world.
was.
It really was.
And I wasn't even there.
I was gonna say you weren't even alive at that time. I mean, like I was born in '86, so it's like I experienced
it's
it,
just
but
like
not.
Most of the descent into madness has happened in the last 10 years, which I have had, you know, cognitive function to witness.
I don't even know if it's been 10 years. I would say 5 to 7.
Even that, yeah, but it has been like there was part of it happening before anyone realized.
Yeah,
I never seen the movie. I know it's hard to believe, but I've never seen this movie.
That's a shame.
I know. I was very scared to tell you in particular, but I've never seen this movie, so I don't know how their interactions are. I don't know how
they don't even stay together in all three. They end up breaking up in the.
So I don't know how the romance develops. You know, like I think those things are all crucial to saying like if it's, you know, acceptable, unacceptable. Like again, it's like super nuanced and case by case basis. I can't be like 15 no, 10 yes. Like I just can't.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.